Hello, everyone. My name is Danny Bernstein. I'm the technical lead on the Fedora project, an open source digital repository that is stewarded by Lyrasis, a nonprofit organization whose mission is to support enduring access to the world's shared academic, scientific, and cultural heritage. In this short presentation, I will be demonstrating the new and improved Camel Toolbox. What is the Camel Toolbox? In a nutshell, the Camel Toolbox is an Apache Camel-based message application that allows you, among other things, to integrate Solr, Sparkle-based triple stores, as well as any HTTP service. We just released a new version, version 6. As I said before, included in this is a new HTTP forwarding microservice that allows you to integrate with any HTTP-based service. It supports Fedora 6. We've upgraded to Camel 3.9, so it's running on the latest Camel version. And finally, we've simplified deployment to make it easier for you to play with it, spin it up. So that's on two levels. One, it's easier to just simply run the application as a Java app. We just have one executable and a single configuration file, and you no longer have to run it through OSGI. And secondly, we have Docker scripts ready to go. So you can just use Docker Compose to bring up the infrastructure. So let's dive in. As I mentioned before, we're going to look at how this all works. We'll use the Docker Compose sample script that's included in the source code. And we'll look at how Solr and Fuzeki can be indexed using the Camel Toolbox. Okay, so I'm going to share my desktop here so that you can see it. All right, and before we maybe the first thing to do here is just to show you that there's really nothing that you need to do to get this going other than run Docker Compose. As you can see, I've cloned the Camel Toolbox project, and then I'm in the Camel Toolbox config directory. In this directory, you'll see this configuration file. Let's just look at that. This file essentially controls your Camel Toolbox. So it allows you to turn on and off various microservices. In this case, we've got the Solr microservice enabled, as well as the triple store. So in a production environment, this will be a different file, or it will be a different values here. But for the sake of your Docker Compose script, these are already set for you. All right, so how do we bring up the environment with Docker Compose? It's very easy. Just type in docker-compose up, and it comes up more or less right away. So it's running the different components, Fedora, Solr, Fuzeki, and the Camel Toolbox. And here, if you want to know what's going on inside these processes, you can just use Docker logs and you point it at the container. So here's the Fedora container, the Camel Toolbox container, Solr, and Fuzeki. All right, so let's go over to a web browser. And so we just brought Fedora up. So now if I go to FC repo rest, should come up here. And there it is. All right. So I'm going to create a resource, just a basic container. I'll call it test. That's been created. You can see the output here. Then let's go back to our output here. Now you can see that here's some logging showing you that the resource was created. Here is showing you that the triple store was updated. So this is the Camel Toolbox output. So it's showing the triple store is created. And then there's also information about the Solr Solr indexing. And then here you can see in the Solr window that there's some activity, indexing activity, and likewise with Fuzeki here, you can see this 200 OK message. So we can verify that everything looks good by going to our Solr query interface. And you can see here that the test resource is there. If we go over to Fuzeki, I'll just refresh this. This has a query, querying all the triples in the triple store. You can see, again, here's our test object with all the metadata as triples. There are other microservices in the Camel Toolbox, which I didn't mention, but are maybe worth mentioning here. There is a fixity service that allows you to iterate through all of your resources and perform fixity checks on them. The results of that are written to RDF, and you could plug that into a triple store if you wanted to. We also have an audit log service that will take Fedora messages and translate them into an RDF and push them into a triple store. So there you can have a separate independent audit log showing what has happened to your Fedora repository. And then, as I mentioned before, the HTTP forwarder. So this receives events from Fedora and then can post them to any HTTP endpoint, allowing you to integrate any service that you have in your network. So finally, here are some resources. Come and check us out on Slack. We have weekly meetings on Zoom. We encourage you to join. We're friendly, and we always love to have new faces and hear about your use cases. And then we always encourage you to become a member at Lyrasis as well. So if you have any questions, you can reach me at this email address. Otherwise, thank you for your time and your attention, and hope to see you at one of our meetings.